Ricky Carmichael picking up the victory at Binghamton. Your winner at Millville, number 4, Ricky Carmichael.
You know, I know I took some time off, but I didn't forget how to ride.
Winning a championship is one thing. You don't have to win every race to do that.
The perfect season's in the back of my mind, but if I don't do it, I can say I've done it before. So.
Ricky Carmichael has been absolutely perfection this year on the outdoor season.
Another amazing moto finish for Ricky Carmichael.
No one has been able to answer the conundrum that is Ricky Carmichael and how to stop him. Ricky Carmichael picks up the magical 100.
Well, you know, anytime you can go undefeated up to this point in the season is just absolutely amazing, and I don't know that we'll see it again.
Undefeated in 2004 is Ricky Carmichael.
One time, unbelievable. 2 times, impossible.
Ricky Carmichael is now just 2 motos away from his 2nd perfect season. Welcome to SoCal. We are in Glen, Helen, just outside of San Bernardino for the AMA Chevrolet Motocross Championship. It is the 9th annual Giant RV AMA Nationals from Glen, Helen. And hello once again, everyone. Todd Harris along with BJ Smith in the house. Davey Coombs is trackside. Well, we have got a show for you today. History in the making as Ricky Carmichael goes for not 1 but his 2nd perfect season. And BJ, he'll be running the number 1.
An old school number 1 plate, just like Marty Smith's 1975 125. Marty Smith, of course, one of Honda's first champions, and it's unbelievable how far this technology has come. Look at that, CRF 450R today.
That is the gold standard right now. Now we're up to the present. Ricky Carmichael, you think he's focused?
He's got the gunfighter eyes right now. He's only focused on that number 1 plate and getting that perfect season. I like that. 3 + 1 = 4, Todd.
Well, this was a scene as Ricky Carmichael went out to practice looking fine, pulls off the line, no problem, and then the problem started.
You see Kevin Windham there just lost over the little tabletop, and Ricky was right behind him, nowhere to go, thrown like a rag doll. And he got the wind knocked out of him right there, hit the handlebars with his chest, but you know what? He went out and set a 2:38 lap time after that. Fastest lap of the day.
Well, we've shown you the past and the present, now the future. Ricky Carmichael, a long-time staple under the Honda banner. Next year, he makes the jump over to yellow and Suzuki. And before the race today, he spoke with all the people that made it possible for him, and he's got a great group of people around him. Ricky does give back, though. Every time he wins, $325 to each one of those men. So congratulations to Ricky Carmichael and his entire team. Let's check in with Davey Coombs.
Well, needless to say, this is going to be a big day for Ricky Carmichael. He goes for the perfect season, also his last ride for Honda. Ricky, a lot going on today.
It's a special day, you know, with the perfect season, like you said. The last ride on the Honda. It's been a fast 3 years for sure, and just looking forward to keeping this ball rolling, man. It's been a great career for me, my whole time here at Honda, and even before that. And looking forward to many other good years, and man, just ecstatic.
Well, the streak is on the line. There you see the standings. Ricky Carmichael has already clinched. Chad Reed in 2nd, Kevin Wynn in 3rd, and we talked to both riders about the possibility of breaking Ricky Carmichael's streak.
Oh, yeah, well, when it comes to that, I guess if Honda don't want to see the streak ended, that's where we don't see eye to eye, because I definitely would like to see it ended. Ricky's been riding great. I can't take anything away from him, but you know, just to have a guy that wins every race is kind of boring, and I don't really want to be a part of it.
That's what I'm focused on, is trying to get as close to the front. You know, if I can battle for the lead, that'd be awesome. Try to get a race win before the season's over.
Well, they've got their work cut out for them in BJ. They got a great track to do it on here at Glen Helen. A few minor changes, though.
Yeah, this year we're coming right off the start, which is Talladega. Big, long, wide start. Not a lot of crashing there, which is nice. And we're going straight up Mount St. Helens, which is the changes there. Then you go straight up Yamaha Hill. We got the Muddy Creek. We got Budds Creek. We got all different kinds of creeks on this track. As we take a look at our Honda starting grid, Carmichael, Reed, Windham, they're all there. This should be a great final 2 motos to wrap up the 2004 season. And it'll be interesting to see what happens out there. I know a lot of people would like to see the streak continue, but his main competitors, I'm sure, would love to be the ones to break it down.
Carmichael already has the title sewn up. He will be running the #1 plate, which you haven't seen him run that in, I don't know when we've ever seen him run that, but he's got a little 3+ next to that one, so technically he's still running the 4.
1999 on his KX 125 was the last time he wore that #1 plate.
Moto #1 from Glen Helen is off. Fonseca with a great jump, #24. He's getting pushed out by Berner on the inside, but it's Lucky, Kyle Lucky Lewis, #23 on board the Honda, is going to pick up the whole shot.
And that's Reed right on the outside looking to take over the line. Oh, man, Evan Lockridge.
Evan Lockridge goes down hard, and he creates a massive sig alert. He's up and moving. That's the good news. But the No Fear Kawasaki rider, #73, just ragdolls out. Meanwhile, Kyle Lewis gets the lead. Chad Reed sits in second. Now Chad Reed goes to the front.
Chad Reed driving it right down the inside. That track's fresh watered, so you got to be a little bit careful coming down the hill on the first lap.
Chad Reed, your leader, #22, trying to break the streak. Ricky Carmichael, perfect all season long. There you see Carmichael coming into view, currently sitting in third.
This is the position he needs to be in at the start of the race, but he needs Ricky Carmichael to be a lot further back than second.
I'll tell you what, as someone who's called Ricky Carmichael races for the past few years, it's hard to look down there and see that #1 and equate it with Ricky Carmichael, but that's what we're dealing with today. #22 and #1, it's Reed and Carmichael, 1 and 2 at Glen Helen in Moto #1.
It's pretty dang hard to bet against Ricky Carmichael. He's been racing here since '97. He's lost 1 moto. That was in 2001 when he went off the track on the first lap.
Kyle Lewis, who had a great run last week at Steel City, currently sits in third. He picked up the whole shot, but he's slid back. And the two big dogs are going at it now. Chad Reed out in front, #22 from Australia, now living in California on board the Yamaha. Ricky Carmichael making his home in Florida, and he is doing it with style. Both men, BJ, making a jump to the 4-stroke this year, and they haven't missed a beat.
Yeah, 4-stroke's the way to go outdoors, undoubtedly. You got to get the start. It's going to be on a 4-stroke. You got to have the power. It's going to be on a 4-stroke. There's no question about it. But both of these guys can't wait to get back on their 2-strokes for indoors, especially Chad.
If you're Ricky Carmichael and you know you can get by Chad, do you do it immediately and check out, or do you just kind of hang back and be patient and not force the issue? Because we've seen in the 125 class, guys going down, and there's my answer.
And there it goes right there. Chad gets him back. I mean, Ricky's being patient. He's trying his lines. He's not following too close. He doesn't have to worry too much. He doesn't have to try too hard. He's going to get him. He knows that.
If you're just joining us, Ricky Carmichael has been perfect this year. He has not lost a moto, thus not losing an overall.
Oh, right there. Chad goes off the track, and he just gives the line to Ricky. I mean, that's what he was waiting for. He's going to pressure him until he makes the mistake. That's how he rides.
And that's how Chad Reed rides during the Supercross season. So Ricky Carmichael turns the tables on #22, Chad Reed. Carmichael takes the lead on his swan song on the Honda.
And they're still trying to get Evan Lockridge off the track. Hopefully he'll be back up and running for Moto 2. But as you look at Ricky coming out of that corner, swapping all over the place, and he'll be the first to tell you, if you don't catch me make at least one mistake during that moto or almost have one get off, then I'm not riding like myself. And as we saw in practice when he crashed, that's when he gets that stuff over with in practice. When it's race time, it's game time, and you don't see him do stuff like that. He gets it over with early in the day.
I think that's what focus will give to you. Meanwhile, Chad Reed, here's how he had his problems, BJ.
Reed just came outside and just blew the berm out. That's all there was to it, and he totally lost his momentum, and Carmichael just sliced right in there.
Unable to double, Chad had to roll through there. Ricky, meanwhile, was almost at full throttle. Here's the battle for third place. #23 is Kyle Lewis on board the Honda, getting pressure by #12. That's David Villeman on board the Yamaha.
Kyle Lewis, another guy you'd like to see break into the top 5, but it's just been an injury-riddled year for him. He had problems at Binghamton with the antifreeze, and you know, he was up in the top 10 at Southwick, but it's just been a tough year for that guy. And David Villeman, we haven't seen him on the podium overall since Buzz Creek. Third place.
David Villeman has been a bit of a mystery. Some weeks he rides unbelievable, flawless, and he is on it. Next week's just doesn't seem like he's there, and he's having all kinds of issues. So Kyle Lewis and David Villeman doing battle, and Villeman will get the third place position as Lewis relinquishes that spot.
Now that's the David Villeman we know.
Exactly. So the race continues here at Glen Helen, Moto number 1 underway. Will Ricky Carmichael's streak stay alive? It's Carmichael, Reed, Villeman, Lewis, and Hamlin, your top 5, back after this. And we are back to Glen Helen. This is not the sight you want to see if you're a Kevin Windham fan. Windham is off the track, and he's got serious bike issues.
It looked to me like there wasn't a chain on that sprocket, and that comes into this race. He's 6 points down on Reed, and he wants second place, but doesn't look like he's gonna get it now.
Meanwhile, Chad Reed continues to go around. Let's take a moment and check in with Davey Coombs on that story.
Kevin, I'd asked what's wrong, but obviously your bike doesn't have a chain.
Yeah. I got a bad start, and I was coming through the pack. I don't know exactly what happened. I looked down, obviously my chain's gone, and I got a big bust in my case, so I'm pretty sure I picked up a rock and broke the chain in the cases, and it's been a tough day for my mechanic. You know, Jonathan, we've been working hard, wanting to finish out the season strong. I went down to practice and took Ricky out, and now bad luck again in the first moto. So.
Well, bad luck indeed. So K-Dub is done in effect for Moto 1, and another rider going down. And I'll tell you what, I might need to change that name to Unlucky Lewis, because Kyle, despite getting that hole shot, he's been unlucky the rest of the day.
I don't know where you came up with lucky, because it's been an unlucky year for Lewis.
Kyle Lewis sliding back, and he gets picked off by 103, the man on fire, Sebastian Tortelli, who's having a great latter part of the season. Looking forward to the Supercross circuit. Number 26 is Michael Byrne on the Kawasaki, who had a great start. Burner currently running in 8th place.
And here's a guy who's running in the top 10 in points. He's been 5th most of the year. And you don't see much of him. And that's what the 250 class is like. These guys are so consistent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a tough class. It's hard to break into that podium spot. And you see Sebastian is really the only one that's broken in there.
So your leader continues to be Ricky Carmichael. He has got a perfect streak intact as he gets set to leave Honda and embrace Suzuki and Roger DeCoster. And BJ, I think it's one of those situations we all remember where we were when. We were in Detroit at Supercross last year, and the rumors were coming out that Ricky was making the jump, and I got a call from Warren Johnson at Fox, and he said, I hear Ricky's jumping to Suzuki, and then the memo came out and it became official.
Yep, just for the Pontiac Supercross, Ricky wasn't even on the bike yet.
Right.
He'd already signed his deal. Here's another guy that might be joining him.
Kyle Lewis in 6th, Sebastian Tortelli sliding up. We did the race last week from Delmont Steel Cities, and Davey Coombs was with me, and we both amazed about how well Sebastian Tortelli has come back from this latest round of injuries.
Yeah, it's so hard to come in the middle of the season and try to hang with these guys, and to get on the podium is an incredible accomplishment. And it looks like he's going to be the one joining Ricky Carmichael on the Suzuki, riding that RMZ 450.
Meanwhile, this is David Villeman, number 12, going through. He is getting pressure right now for number 36 on the Suzuki. That is Sean Hamlin. Villeman currently sitting in 3rd place. And I think you brought up a great point, BJ. This is the David Villeman I think everyone wants to see all the time. Riding with passion, with style, and aggression.
Yeah, Villeman's got to ride for next year. We know he's with Yamaha. Sean Hamlin, where's he going to be?
The musical chairs is definitely coming into effect. We'll talk about that at the end of the season. There's only so many rides available, and everyone else is trying to scramble. Looks like the big dogs are all in place, and everyone else now trying to grab a spot under a tent.
A 3rd place is definitely what he would need here, and
nice.
3rd place is where he's moving to. It looks like Villeman just said, hey, door open, come on in.
David Villeman wanted no part of that. Sean Hamlin had that thing pinned wide open, going for that inside line. Villeman catches a look out of the corner of his eye, and if Villeman thinks his problems are over, he is sorely mistaken, because here comes Sebastian Tortelli charging up the hill, and he's got Kyle Lewis with him.
And look at that, Kyle was way down on Tortelli. Right. He caught up to him, and it looks like he's going to make the move. Tortelli out of our view.
Going for the slingshot.
Lewis gets him.
Kyle Lewis able to hook up quicker, number 23. Lewis sits in 5th place after a great start. Right behind him is 103, Sebastian Tortelli, originally out of France, now riding the Suzuki. And wouldn't Roger DeCoster love to have Carmichael, Tortelli, and then the 2 youngsters in Brock Hepler and Davey Millsaps.
Downsizing the team, 4 extremely hard workers in these guys. And then you got Lewis on the other end of the spectrum. He's been around since 1987.
Speaking of Ricky Carmichael, he continues to lead here in Moto number 1 from Glen Helen. got a tremendous start, had a nice battle going with Chad Reed, and looks like he is all but checking out.
This guy was riding 50s in 1987.
Unbelievable. Ricky Carmichael, your leader here, and it looks like for moto number 1, barring any major disaster, Ricky's gonna have the streak going down to that all-important final moto. Sorry, BJ, I just can't get used to seeing that number 1 on his jersey.
I know, it's weird looking at it. In one of the stand-ups Davey did this morning, he's like, look for number 1 out there.
Ernesto Fonseca also on board a Honda, currently running in 7th place, coming back from the same knee injury that Ricky Carmichael had. Carmichael had his surgery back in November. Ernesto, remember, blew his knee out in San Diego at the Supercross, a very disappointing time and frustrating time for him and Team Honda as they took some serious shots with losing Ricky and Ernesto in the same year.
That's such a tough and scary injury to come back from. You don't want to come back too soon yet. You know, here's another guy who's racing for a job, and you got to get out there. This is their livelihood. They have to race.
Your running order: Carmichael, Reed, Hamlin, Villeman, and Lewis. Top 5 at Glen Helen. We're back with more in a moment. Here's an interesting piece of history from the first ever AMA professional motocross at Glen Helen. In 1993, the event was formatted like a Supercross with 2 heats and a last chance qualifier. One final main event awarded double points and the overall. Mike Kudrowski had already wrapped up the 93 250cc title in the previous round, and good things too, because this practice crash earlier in the day took him out of the race. In the one moto main event, Damon Bradshaw stole the whole shot but was overtaken by Steve Lamson. Bradshaw high-sided a few turns later and gave up his podium spot. Frontrunner Jeff Stanton pulled out of the race with a season-long nagging back injury, and the win came down to 2 first-timers, Lamson and Mike LaRocco. Both riders were looking for their first ever 250cc MX win, but it only took 1 pass for the Rock to make it stick. Not only was it LaRocco's first win, but it was Guy Cooper's last race. A little whip for the fans. And we are back to San Bernardino, the 9th annual Giant RV Nationals at Glen Helen. Your leader, Ricky Carmichael. And speaking of whips, BJ, I'm sure when Ricky comes through, we'll get a little taste of something there as Chad Reed continues to power through in 2nd.
Yeah, that's one thing Ricky Carmichael knows how to do, is lay it upside down.
So the race continues on. Temperatures, as we mentioned at the top of the show, extremely hot. Temperatures in the 90s, but practice the day or so ago, hundreds.
Yeah,
so
it was 110 degrees on Saturday, and it's only 93 today, so I guess that's cool.
It's a lot cool. Oh, Chad Reed gets a little squirrely there, goes outside, has to dive back inside.
That's the 2nd time he's done that, and I keep seeing he's looking over at his mechanic. I don't know if he's having some problems with the brakes. I don't know.
Let's find out. Let's check in with Davey Coombs.
Darren, I'm not a factory mechanic, but it looked like he overshot that corner. Is there something wrong with his rear brakes?
No problem. The only problem we had was last weekend where he took a shot and did some damage. But I think he's just kind of searching for some speed and trying to go in deep. He doesn't want Ricky to win them all.
Well, Chad Reed, like the rest of us, has yet to figure out how to top Ricky Carmichael in the Outdoor Nationals in 2004. It has been Carmichael and no one else. Good race going on here. That's 23 Kyle Lewis being pressured by Sebastian Tortelli.
Yeah, Sebastian Tortelli right now is going, hey, shouldn't I be the one leading you?
Kyle Lewis having the ride of the year right now. Staying in a top 5 position after a great start and holding off one of the best riders on the circuit. Oh. And he goes way over to a hay bale, and that might be the door that Sebastian Tortelli was looking for.
Nails that tough block, and here we go again. Tortelli going to the outside. Lewis staying to the inside through the rougher stuff, but can't make it stick this time.
What do you think the reason is for that? Because we've seen this in the 125 class, less braking bumps on that outside line.
Well, of course, you always got to pick and choose your lines, but it all comes down to not wanting to follow the person in front of you. Davey, what do you got?
Well, Tony, it looks like Sebastian's making some nice progress through the field.
He's made 1 pass on, I think, Kyle Lewis. He looks a little slow to me right now, but I hope that he'll get it going here. He's usually stronger at the end, and that's what I'm hoping for right now.
Sebastian's won here before. Was he looking forward to a podium or maybe getting a moto win this week?
You know what, Davey, he's got to be realistic. Right now, Carmichael's incredible, and I think the podium is really what he's looking for. As far as a moto win, that's pretty tough to do against that character.
You know, Tony's been at this game a long time, and he's not going to sugarcoat it for us. There's no doubt about that.
Tell us how you really feel, Tony. Gotta love the character that is Tony Berluti, doing a great job for Sebastian Tortelli, and Tortelli vice versa doing a great job on that bike.
You know, my question is, what if Sebastian Tortelli got a hole shot?
Good question. I think he definitely, I don't say guarantee himself, but he certainly be on the podium because he's not a guy who drops anchor and goes backwards.
Yeah, almost like we can guarantee Ricky Carmichael's going to win this race. We can guarantee that Sebastian's going to come from about 10th or 15th all the way to 3rd.
The French connection's about to begin. 103, Sebastian Tortelli in 5th, looking to overtake fellow countryman David Villemin, who's sitting in 4th right now. And Villemin's starting to do that old looking over his shoulder ride defensively.
Yeah, I would say that Villemin's probably getting a little tired at this point, and look how hard Tortelli's charging down this hill.
Loves that outside line. Pops on the gas quick.
Frenchman to Frenchman, you better pack a lunch and bring your sister, because I'm coming on through. And Tortelli makes the move.
So Tortelli moves into 4th place. Not closing in on your leader, Ricky Carmichael. This is the final lap. Carmichael's already into parade mode, but even his parade mode is sick.
Just like James Bubba Stewart, he is just moving all the time.
Mike Gosselaar with a relatively easy day. Ricky slows down enough to get a little word of advice from him, but folks at Glen Helen certainly in for a treat here today. Carmichael dropping it back, lifting up the wheel, showing a little Honda power.
Well, Mike Gosselaar's day has been anything but easy. After that crash, Todd, he had to frame the bike, put a new one on. He trashed the frame. That the motor was sitting on the stand. It was just the motor. I was like, well, it's going to be hard to ride that thing. So he had a really busy morning. But, yeah, you're right. Out on the track, he's on cruise control.
Chad Reed currently sitting in 2nd place, resigned to the fact that not going to get him in this one. He's got one more shot in 2004 to get Ricky Carmichael in an outdoor national. And then he's going to have to wait till possibly the U.S. Open. But then the rumor is that Carmichael might be on the Suzuki.
Oh, he's definitely going to be on that Suzuki. In fact, he's going to be on that Suzuki probably tomorrow or Tuesday morning.
Have you heard if Ricky's committed to the U.S. Open?
Yeah, the press release has gone out. Clear Channel said that Ricky Carmichael is in for the U.S. Open, and we don't have that far to go, so he's got some serious testing to do.
Meanwhile, Sean Hamlin desperately trying to hold on to 3rd place from a hard-charging 103 Sebastian Tortelli on the left side of your screen. We'll see who clears this section the fastest, and it looks like it's going to be Tortelli as he makes that corner. Look at the power through there. Tortelli takes a look over, and Hamlin trying to answer back on the inside.
Look at that, saying, hey, buddy, come on, I'm a little lighter. We're on the same exact bike. I'm going to take this back from you.
And it's the battle for 10th position. Both men looking for the favor of Roger DeCoster, and Tortelli comes right back.
That was Sean's line. If he just held on a little more coming into that corner, he might have had it. I don't know what happened there. Look at the lead he's got already.
So Tortelli, the way he's riding, is putting the lock vice grip hold on that 3rd position. Meanwhile, Carmichael bringing it through. He'll be seeing checkers here in a moment, and Ricky Carmichael, talk about going out in style. He has done everything right this year, and for a guy who's already signed a big contract to go to Suzuki, Carmichael has performed well for Honda. Your winner, moto number 1, Ricky Carmichael. When we come back, we'll talk to RC after this. We are back to Glen Helen, the conclusion of moto number 1. Let's check in with Davey Coombs.
Well, champ, 1 down, 1 to go.
We got one more moto for the perfect season, and that's where all the pressure is. When you're sitting on the line and you made it this far, you're like, you can't screw it up now. The moto was awesome. I got a pretty good start and was able to get Chad pretty quick and pulled away. I felt really good. It's really hot today, and looking forward to the next moto. One more.
What about that crash this morning in practice? I know your neck's hurting you, your hand. That was pretty ugly.
Yeah, it was. I tell you, I don't know, I came around and they just weren't waving a flag, and I landed right on Kevin Wyndham's bike and got whiplash, and I almost knocked myself out, and a little bumps and bruises, but fortunately nothing happened, and I can continue my streak.
Well, congratulations to Ricky Carmichael. We're just glad he's okay as we take a look at the Suzuki final results. It's Carmichael, Reed, Tortelli, Hamlin, and Lewis, the top 5. Let's check back in with Davey Coombs.
One more chance to break Ricky's record. I got to tell you, you have definitely turned it up here of late. You got one more moto to stop him. Can you do it?
You know, I sure would like to think so. You know, I've been trying all year, and like I said, you know, we can't take nothing away from Ricky. He's an awesome rider, and I'm just trying every weekend, you know, just never give up.
Hey folks, nobody does more to protect your right to ride than the American Motorcyclists Association. Every racer on the track is an AMA member. How about you? Call 1-800-AMA-JOIN or visit AMADirectLink.com. The AMA writes, riding, and racing. This week we've got royalty in the house. We're catching up with MC, Jeremy McGrath.
Yeah, well, you know, the funny part about it is when I'm at home, that's all I want to do is ride still. I mean, I assume that the best thing about it for me is that I didn't get such a sour taste in my mouth that I just didn't want to ride the bike, you know, for a long time or ever again. And really, that's all I do. That's all I think about. Unless I'm hanging out with my wife, you know, I'm thinking about where I'm going to go riding next, and I enjoy that. It's funny when you're talking to someone, you know, you're 32 years old and you say you're retired. And, you know, I think for me, retirement is retirement from the sport. It's, you know, yeah, I may not have to work again, but I'm not the kind of person that's going to sit down and do nothing. I don't know, I just make sure I keep myself busy, and I'm definitely not afraid to work. So we will see where it goes from there. But the word retirement was, you know, it wasn't scary. I came to this sport and fulfilled my dream and won it more than I ever thought I could win. So just to be able to put it down and be happy about it is nice. I really haven't announced my plans. Everybody else announced my plans. I don't have a signed contract at this point. I have a contract, and we are discussing it, and I'm sure something, you know, I'm sure something's going to happen with Honda, but you know, to this day, I don't know. Like, I would enjoy going to racing races, but it's definitely not going to be full time. And you know, it's all about being able to help Honda and help their riders and help with their new bikes and really having a good time for myself, getting a chance to get out there and hang out with these guys. You know, after retirement, I've really become good friends with a lot of these guys because it's not like I'm threatening to them anymore or they're threatening to me. You know, there's a lot of great guys in the pits, and that's been a really fun part. You know, I've really gotten to know Chad great and Ricky really good, and you know, I'm just happy that we're not like at each other's throat anymore, because it's just such a better feeling.
When we come back, it's Moto number 2, history in the making. Again, stick around. We are back to Glen, Helen for the AMA Chevrolet Motocross Championship as we get set for Moto number 2. Let's check in with Davey Coombs.
There are exactly 30 minutes and 2 laps left in Ricky Carmichael's Honda contract, and what a successful time it's been with Team Honda. Between Carmichael and Windham, Honda has won every single 250 National in the last 3 years, and Carmichael has won all but 2, and now he's got that 30 minutes and 2 laps from the second ever perfect season. Of course, he's the only guy to ever do it, going out in style with the number 1, but the track is rough. It's still kind of hot out here, so we'll see if Carmichael has what it takes, but it'd be tough to bet against right now.
All right, Davey, nice job. As we get set, we'll take a look at the Honda starting grid here for Moto number 2. Carmichael Reed, Wyndham Villeman, and Michael Byrne. Ernesto Fonseca's in there, as is Nick Way. Talk about showing yourself off, basically, for the owners and the team managers. This is your final opportunity, isn't it, BJ?
Yeah, no, all I can say right now is I'm speechless. He's going to try to do this again. He's got 23 motos. He's got 26 in a row, dating all the way back to Binghamton, 2003.
He is amazing. So here it is, folks, the final moto of the year, the Outdoor Nationals from Glen Helen. Ricky Carmichael puts it all on the line, getting ready to roll the dice and hope it comes up Yahtzee.
And notice how he's starting all the way on the inside. The first moto, he was 3 over to the left.
And once again, it's Kyle Lewis with a great start. David Villeman this time to the outside. So it's Villeman and Lewis, and here comes number 1, Ricky Carmichael. Dives on in. He sits in second place. He's got Reed and Villeman behind him.
Maybe it doesn't matter where he starts, because he's going to be up in the top 5 no matter what.
Carmichael keeps the rubber side down, moves ahead of Kyle Lewis, and Ricky out in front.
And this is another one of the elements on this track. Look how dark it is up on the top of the hill, and they come down into the sun. Later in the day, we're getting around the 5 o'clock hour, and that sun is dipping behind the West Mountains. And it's really hard because you get a lot of glare. You come into here, it's dark for those guys. It's hard to see in there.
You get some roost in the sun, and then you go to some shade. You go for a tear-off. You got yourself some problems right there if you don't keep it under control. Meanwhile, Kyle Lewis has some problems in the form of number 24, Ernesto Fonseca. Fonseca running in third, trying to hold off Chad Reed, who's now sliding into position to take that line.
Fonseca's another guy who's really turned it on in this last half of the season. Got that third place in the second moto at Binghamton. A really solid ride going head-to-head against Sebastian Tortelli.
Chad Reed gets around him, so it's Reed in second place, and as Davey Coombs talked to him after moto number 1, this is his final opportunity to get a shot at Ricky Carmichael on board a Honda.
Where the heck is Ricky Carmichael right now? He's gone.
Sounds like a new book. Where's Waldo? Forget that. Where's Ricky Carmichael?
Look at how deep those ruts are, too. And we had crashes on the first laps of both 125 motos. These guys, a little more calculated, a little more careful.
This is a corner that gave Chad Reed some problems in moto number 1. He's figured that out. He got together with Darren Sorensen. Bike's running smoothly right now. Now the mission is maybe mission impossible to track down Ricky Carmichael.
Joaquin Rodriguez there running up near the front. He's got a ride next year. Signing with Amsoil Chaparral, dropping down to the 125 class, it looks like, to ride with Tommy Hahn, Leminovich, and Josh Grant.
So Rodriguez leaves the KTM camp to jump over to Honda. A lot more news coming out, I'm sure, in the next few weeks before we get ready for the U.S. Open in Las Vegas.
And once again, here's Tortelli running 7th place. And once again, you got to ask, what if he got a hole shot?
Sebastian now is on the mission to move up in the pack, which he's done in the moto number 1, and he worked his way all the way up to 3rd place. This is the battle for 5th. David Villeman once again involved. Rodriguez 108 on the left side of your screen. Villeman now coming into view, and then 103 is Sebastian Tortelli on the yellow of Suzuki. Wow, and Rodriguez got the bad end of that deal.
Yeah, that's happened to him a couple times this year. I mean, quiet kid from Portugal. I mean, he's just trying to make it here in the States, trying to get his name known. And you know, it's kind of like some of these guys that come from the other countries and they just don't stick out amongst the other riders. You just gotta let your riding do the talking. That's tough when you're going up against guys like Chad Reed and Ricky Carmichael, who pretty much walk away with all these motos, and you're back and forth in 5th place, and it's hard to get noticed, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, Rodriguez had his running with Chad Reed last week at Delmont, and Chad took exception to the line that Rodriguez took, but he's a very talented rider. I'm sure KTM sorry to see him leave camp.
I tell you what, if I'm running 4th or 5th place in a national moto like this, I'm going to be ecstatic.
No question, especially at Glen Helen, where you ran here earlier in the day, and you know how difficult the track is.
Yeah, look at it now. You see the camera. I mean, it's almost completely pitch black in there. And then you come up into the blinding sun at the top of this hill, and then down the slick stuff because they just watered the track. I mean, Glen Helen is full of elements.
The braking chatters, they come down the hill, back on the gas once again. If you're just joining us, Ricky Carmichael, the streak looks to be intact and alive and well as he runs out in front. Chad Reed runs in 2nd place here in moto number 2.
I'm really impressed by Joaquin right now, keeping Tortelli at bay, running up the front, not giving an inch. I love it.
Tortelli almost high sides there as Rodriguez shuts down his line, so he'll come back and try a different area. Meanwhile, another guy to be impressed with is Kyle Lewis. 23 as he gets passed there by Ernesto Fonseca, but Kyle Lewis' starts have been phenomenal.
He's been around for a long time. The guy's been around for 17 years. He knows how it's done. This isn't his first rodeo.
Ernesto Fonseca now moves into 3rd. Kyle Lewis now sits in 4th. And here comes the rest of the pack, David Villeman included.
Blinding sun coming up off that step up and heading up that hill. I almost want to put my hand in front of my face.
As the sun sets in California, the riders will have to contend with that, no question about it. Ricky Carmichael continues to have no problem with the elements or the track here at Glen Helen. He is your leader with Chad Reed in 2nd, Ernesto Fonseca in 3rd, Kyle Lewis in 4th, and Rodriguez rounding out your top 5. Welcome back to Southern California. We're in San Bernardino for the AMA Chevrolet Motocross Championship. the 9th annual Giant RV AMA Nationals at Glen Helen. Todd Harris along with BJ Smith and Davey Coombs down in the pits as we watch Ricky Carmichael put the perfect streak to bed. And BJ, what can you say that already has been said? This kid has been phenomenal. He has been quite simply perfect.
I don't know. I'm just sitting here watching this guy ride with a big grin on my face. I mean, he's 8 for 8 in motocross championships. He's won all but 2 motocross races since he's been on a Honda. The guy has almost an 85% win rate in motocross.
Meanwhile, the back of the pack tries to track him down. Kyle Lewis comes through. Ernesto Fonseca, Rodriguez, Kevin Windham back up and riding after his debacle in Moto number 1 when his chain came off. So Kevin Windham, as he was trying to track down Chad Reed to get 2nd overall on the day, won't be able to do that because of that opening first round problem with the chain, but he's back on it, riding again, strong once again. Let's check in with Davey Coombs with his mechanic.
Well, last time we saw you, you were pushing the bike off, broken chain, broken cases. What else did you have to fix between motos?
Just replace the motor and make sure everything's tight. That's about it.
How was Kevin?
He's glad that this is the last outdoor moto of the year. He's ready for U.S. Open and a little time off.
Yeah, Kevin Windham, I don't think this season went exactly like he thought it would, BJ.
No, I like how he said we changed the motor and just tightened some stuff up. No big deal. That's a lot of work, especially to do in less than an hour.
So the 2 Hondas going head-to-head as they come down the hill, and some very tricky lighting. Kevin Windham moves ahead of Ernesto Fonseca and gives him a mouthful of roost for the boot.
Here we go again, heading into this dark section, going up Yamaha Hill. It's just getting worse and worse throughout the day as that sun keeps dipping lower below those mountains.
Well, good to see Kevin Windham getting his problems sorted out. Meanwhile, Ricky Carmichael out in front and running away with it. And it goes to question, if you're Honda, why do you let him go?
You know, I don't know what happened there. I'm just kind of waiting for the Racer X interview, if you ask me, because nobody really knows what happened.
Meanwhile, Chad Reed comes through. His day has been kind of up and down. Let's check in with Davey one more time.
I don't have a stopwatch on, but I think Chad's picking up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if Ricky made some mistakes or what, but we made up like 3 seconds on him the last couple laps. So Reedy's still going to fight right to the end. It's, you know, never say die.
Did he say between mows that's what he's going to do, just run until it's over?
Yeah, actually, he didn't really say. He just know that's Reedy's style right there. He don't quit, ever.
One thing that Ricky has over the rest of these guys is a mental gauge. He knows exactly what he needs and when. He gets out front as fast as possible, and he can keep it there. And if he sees him gaining them a little bit, he'll let that reel out a little more.
As we watch the battle for 7th, so what you're saying is don't put a lot of stock in those numbers?
Exactly.
Ricky Carmichael leads. Chad Reed continues to run in 2nd place, and that is a battle that hopefully for fans around the country will rage on for a long time, both in the Nationals and the Supercross. Good battle going here, though. Nick Way on the outside, number 27 on board the Suzuki, getting past Rodriguez.
The leading member of the Michigan Mafia, Nick Way, on the number 27 Suzuki. He's looking for a job next year.
Hard to believe a guy like Nick Way. I mean, I think he's a very consistent, solid rider, both on the Supercross circuit and the Outdoor Nationals.
Well, if you got your choice between Nick Way and Ricky Carmichael on the Suzuki, I mean, he's getting bumped out. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, no question about that. Ricky Carmichael coming over to the Suzuki camp under the tutelage of Roger DeCoster, and just having those two together, I mean, talk about a dream team. Those guys together, that's a lot of experience on a bike.
Yeah, that's a lot of championships. Roger DeCoster has 5 world titles. This guy has 11 national titles, and that's what I was talking about in the first moto. He's always got a major bobble in there, and if he says if I don't, then that's not me. I mean, he hangs it out at all costs.
You think about that Suzuki team with Roger DeCoster running it, Ricky Carmichael on board, and then you bring in the 2 youngsters with Millsaps and Brock Kepler. I mean, are they in for the ride of their life?
For sure, Todd. Suzuki has 7 250 motocross and supercross titles since 1972. Ricky Carmichael has 8 since the year 2000. How about those numbers?
Well, you don't need an abacus to add that up. Ricky's going to bring a lot of winning over to Suzuki. Meanwhile, back to Chad Reed. Here's a young man that I'm sure can't wait for the U.S. Open and the Supercross season to start. Reed currently running in 2nd place, trying to track down. We heard Davey Coombs and his mechanic Darren Sorensen talking moments ago about him shaving seconds off, but I think he's going to do a lot more. He's going to have to do a lot more if he's going to track down the man who's running number 1 today.
Well, like Davey was saying earlier, Reed is riding the best motocross of his life right now, but it's just, I don't want to say it's unfortunate, but so is Ricky Carmichael. Ricky Carmichael's riding the best motocross of his life every time he gets on the track. And Reed's definitely picked it up since he first came over here to America.
So Chad Reed continues to persevere on his 4-stroke, trying to track down his, let's say it, his arch nemesis in motocross, that being Ricky Carmichael, and they will meet again in the Supercross season. Right now, though, it's all Carmichael. We are back to Glen Helen in the waning moments of Moto number 2. Carmichael picked up the win in Moto number 1, and it looks like B.J. Smith, he's going to do it again here, and the perfect streak will happen again.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's going to keep him from winning this moto is a bike problem, and when Mike Gosler's tuning your machine, not much to worry about there.
Meanwhile, Chad Reed continues his perseverance to try to track down the ever-elusive Ricky Carmichael. He sits in second, and Sebastian Tortelli now coming through. Kyle Lewis has slid back, and Kevin Windham has gotten into the fray into 5th.
A tough day for Kevin Windham, but a good day for Kyle Lewis, and maybe even a better day for Nick Way, the battle for 6th there.
Ernesto Fonseca on the left side of your screen, number 24 on board the Honda. Nick Way on the Suzuki, rider down. Nice work by number 27, Nick Way. Well, here it is, folks. Set your TiVos. He's running number 1. We've normally seen him running number 4, and this is the last time for a while you'll see this young man racing a Honda. Ricky Carmichael, your leader on the white flag lap.
He usually does a parade lap after he takes the checkered flag. We might be seeing 2 parade laps here. This is number 1. Look at that, Jeff Stanton's former mechanic, Mr. 325. History repeats? I think so.
So as Carmichael makes what is in effect a parade lap to say goodbye to Glen Helen and his fans on board his Honda for the last time, it has been a memorable ride. This is a young man who has come out and just been dominating after major knee surgery. Davey Coombs is with his mechanic.
Well, Goose, I think he's wrote it on the board. History repeats itself.
Pretty much. He's amazing. That's what else can you say?
Hey,
how do you do that? How do you win 24 motos, not make any mistakes?
How do you do it twice?
I don't know.
And by the way, a great day for you. Your son Chris, second overall.
Just a real good day. More can you say?
Party at the Gosler house, I think.
Heck yeah. Gosler's going to go over to Suzuki with Ricky. His son Chris is going to go to Motor World Suzuki, so it's a big Suzuki fest.
BJ, put this into perspective. We talk about the Michael Jordans, the Babe Ruths, the Garricks. Do you see this record even be broken? I know records are meant to be broken, all the cliches, but Ricky has done something that I don't know if we'll ever see it again in our lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy McGrath has 72 Supercross wins. Now Ricky Carmichael's in the mid-70s in motocross wins. Going to Suzuki next year, who has 33 Supercross wins since 1972. Ricky Carmichael has 33 Supercross wins in his own pocket.
Folks, he is flat out amazing, and what gets better is we will see him next year, albeit on a Suzuki, but Ricky Carmichael returns to Anaheim for the Supercross season. Oh, and by the way, James Bubba Stewart will be there, as will the defending champion in Chad Reed, Kevin Windham, Travis Pastrana, and the rest of the company. So it will be fantastic. But Glen Helen, the day belongs to number 1, formerly number 4, RC Ricky Carmichael, sending Honda out in style.
Yeah, we just got to live for the moment right now. I mean, look at this. He's saying, pass me, go, go. I'm on my epitome of cruise control.
So this is it. Ricky Carmichael wraps up not yet another moto, another title, another overall, but the perfect season comes to a conclusion. Your winner from Glen Helen, Ricky Carmichael.
Unbelievable, Todd. Look at the crowd. They're storming the field.
And just think, less than a year ago, this young man had major knee surgery. As we take a look at our Suzuki final results, it is Carmichael, Reed, Tortelli, Windham, and Lewis, your top 5 here at the final moto at Glen Helen.
There you go for one more ride on this, baby. Enjoy it. It's a bad machine.
That's definitely one bad machine.
One bad machine and one bad rider. As we take a look at the Suzuki overalls, Carmichael 1-1, Reed 2-2, Sebastian Tortelli 3-3. Davey Coombs is standing by with the champ.
Well, champ, That's it, man. You did it again. Perfect.
I can't believe it. You know, especially sitting at home watching Chad dominate the Supercross, and I knew I was a strong candidate for the title, and I'm so happy. I was almost in tears the last lap, and I had a lump in my throat for sure. It's amazing.
I know it's a big day for you. You wore the #1, your last ride in Honda. You also broke out the red, white, and blue.
Definitely, to show some patriotism, and you know, I was saying, you know, what I did today is pretty awesome and amazing, but you know, guys like Pat Tillman to throw his career away and go out and help us live in a safe country. That guy, we couldn't hold a candle to him. That's what a true American's all about right there.
Ricky Carmichael, a class act and a great champion. He finishes with a perfect 600 points. Well, there's been a great season for all of us here at ESPN. On behalf of my partner Cameron Steele, BJ Smith, Davey Coombs, Jamie Little, for everyone who contributed, I'm Todd Harris saying so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Your winner and champion, Ricky Carmichael.